Hi guys, it's Josh from the Dad Challenge podcast, and I just want to update you on this whole Myka Stauffers situation. We podcasted last night about it, and I've heard your feedback. We brought on an awesome psychologist, Dr. Kirk from Psychology in Seattle podcast. He wasn't really aware of the whole situation, so he was just there to kind of give us advice on generally the overall psychology of everything, of like being an Instagrammer or an influencer or a parent blogger, and he had some good insight. Today I just wanted to get into some of the things that I've, over this whole Stauffer wormhole I've gone through, address some of the other things that have come up, and just dive a little deeper into the logistics of being a YouTuber. I do not make money on my YouTube channel. I'm not even monetized. Not yet, anyway. I wish I was. And I think overall part of this whole thing is that people wish they could have what the Stauffers have. And some of the psychology we talked about last night is that people just want to see people who are successful fall. And there's something to be said for that. I'm not really going to talk about that much, but there is something to be said for that. These people love these shiny people, and they see the perfect shiny lifestyle, and they want to taint it. They want to throw dirt on it. And then I get that. There is psychology to that, but that's another thing. I just quickly went through the channel count of just their, their adoption updates. So just the Huxley stuff, nothing of the other things, although I'm sure he's part of that, and I'm sure there's some view counts. And a rough estimate of the view counts of just that section of their channel leaves me about 9 million views. Okay, so I counted about 9 million views. And if you get roughly 2,000 or 3,000 per million views, let's see what that is. Let's go with the conservative estimate. 2,000 times 9 million. That's, whoa. Is that right? I did that wrong. Per million. I'm stupid. I'm so dumb. It's scary sometimes. So let's do 2,000 times 9. There we go. So just on the Huxley stuff alone, $18,000 of passive income basically for doing a video, uploading it, and then doing it. But I've heard other places they've made $43,000 off one of the videos or something, like they bragged about it. So some of the things I want to talk about are the monetary gains of a family like this and why it's so important for them to put up a facade, because this is their image, right? This is everything to them. This is how they make their money. They have 3 channels or more. I don't even know. They could have many more. I'm sure their Instagram makes them a bit of money, but since this whole thing broke, I'm pretty sure they've lost every major sponsorship for the Stauffer channel. The Stauffer Garage channel, which actually I was watching a couple things. As much as these people are hating on them, and I have definitely been a part of that hate. Not hate, I guess, but yeah, you could say it. His channel is actually good. I mean, I actually enjoy watching him clean cars. It's very relaxing. But I guess the overarching thing I can't get out of my head is that they've done this to this poor kid, and I can't like something that they've done, even though it's pretty cool. So he's got nearly 1 million subscribers on that channel. So there's a bunch of money coming in off just their YouTube personality stuff. YouTube in itself isn't generally the most difficult thing to do. You got to get yourself, a couple $1,000 camera, a nice lens. I mean, partly for them, being beautiful is really important. And I've immersed myself in a couple of their videos, and you kind of feel like it's too much. Does that make sense? Like, it's too plastic. It's too shiny. It's too bright. And there's no way you can live your life like that. I think a lot of people get in there and they feel kind of like less than because of the image that these people put across. These perfectly clean houses, when we all know if you have kids, there's no chance you have a clean house. I'm sorry. Maybe there is, but my house is right off all the time. It's insane. And maybe that's just me. Maybe we're just messy. But part of this is it's just like too much sugar, right? So when you listen to like good music and stuff like that, when there's too much of something that's good, it's just too much. I mean, it's too much, like too much icing on a cake. You don't want to eat that cake. It's like it's just too much. Icing on its own is delicious in small batches, but you eat too much of something is gross, basically, right? Too much of something is gross. And this channel for me, and I'm sure I'll dive deeper into this as I continue on this channel that I'm doing, and it's just that too much of a good thing is kind of like icky. And it's just the hi, welcome to my channel, hi. And I know it's a branding thing, and I know it's this marketing ploy that people do, that they have to have their thing, like we do in the top of our podcast. Yo, welcome to the Dad Challenge podcast. I get it. I understand it all, but I also understand why people kind of like are becoming cynical of this whole world of influencers, right? So I want to address a couple of the big things that have come up over the time. And there's a girl on YouTube called Without a Crystal Ball. Great stuff. If you haven't checked her out, check out Without a Crystal Ball. She dives deep into this whole thing. She does tons of research. People send her stuff and posts. She puts it up there. I don't have time to do all that. She goes into detail about a few things that really, really bothered me. But also things that I'm like, I want to talk about a little bit. This big one that's coming up is when she duct taped his thumb. In an earlier video, she actually has a thumb guard on Huxley's hand. But I guess the idea is that she's hypocritical because she lets her older daughter suck her thumb or something like that, and I get it. The duct tape, yeah and no. I think it maybe, yeah, I'm kind of torn on it because I had thumb suckers as kids. Both my youngest were thumb suckers. My youngest, she sucked her thumb so much her teeth like bowed out like this, and she's cute. But you know, when growing up, braces are going to cost a lot of money. We got lucked out. She literally tripped and fell flat on her face and her teeth fixed themselves. Amazing. And she never sucked her thumb after that. I'm not advocating that your kid should fall on their face so they stop sucking the thumb. I'm just saying, I understand the thumb sucking thing. I would never use duct tape, I guess. And I guess it's a big one. And I think she's removed these videos. There's a couple of videos that she's actually removed on these channels. They say private video. And I'm wondering what those are. And it just looks bad, to be honest. If you're deleting stuff you don't want people to see, but you're keeping up the rest of the Huxley stuff, just take it all. Basically, my end game here for this conversation or this exposure to these people is to just get rid of the Huxley stuff. Keep the rest of the stuff that you're gonna do. Just remove him. Stop monetizing him because he's no longer yours. So you shouldn't be able to. YouTube should be digging in here and saying sorry. Also, the overarching thing too for family influencers is I think that there should be a law and a cap on using your kids for fame. There's a law for child actors, like we talked about in the podcast last night. There is a law for that. There's stuff in place to protect them, but there's no for YouTube and these kids out there for the rest of their life. When she's exposing everything that this kid goes through, all his tantrums and all of his mental issues before, even in the womb, everybody knows about this kid in every aspect of his life, all of his negativity, all of his problems, and she exposed this online for everybody for views. Okay. And so one of the things I really want to, I'm not bashing for the sake of bashing. My wife doesn't really like that I do these types of things. She's like, why would you want to ruin this family? I'm not trying to ruin a family. I know that sounds like that I am, but what I really want to see is change, right? So if we don't expose this type of behavior and talk about it and educate ourselves, it's going to continue and it's going to get worse because somebody will be like, well, they made millions of dollars adopting a kid. You don't think someone else is going to go out there and try to do the same thing? These narcissistic, there's tons of people like this. They're going to do it. And we got to stop it before it keeps going. We need to stop using our children as pawns in our social media. I mean, at least without their permission. And if they're too young to give permission, they shouldn't be on your channel. Argue with me. Maybe we can debate about that, but I'm sorry. As they get older and then they're exposed. Like imagine someone who goes to university and their parents had a YouTube channel about them their whole life and they had some embarrassing stuff that they did or whatever and exposed their whole life. You know, they don't really get a choice in that. And maybe you can delete it later, but when it's on the internet, it's there forever. Someone wants to find it, they're going to find it. And I haven't even touched on the predators that are on YouTube that are stalking your kids and looking at videos of your kids. You really want people like predators looking at your kids? And I have a video up and I'm going to take it down where we did a dad life video. I did a parody of a Drake song and my kids are in the bathtub behind me and I looked at it and I'm like, man, I'm a hypocrite for keeping that in there. So I'm going to take that out because I don't want predators looking at my kids. These people will do anything to be in front of the camera. And if you look at the way that they interact, especially on camera, it's all about her. It's so me. She's so perfect in every way. And it's me, and shiny. It's beautiful. It's like, where are your kids anyway during the day? I thought you homeschooled them. Like, where do you have time to do all this stuff? If you're a parent and you have 3 full-time YouTube channels, where do you have a chance to be a parent? Like, I want to know that because I'm a video filmmaker and this stuff could take up your whole life. And it clearly does because they make a lot of money. I'm going in so many different directions. I know, I'm sorry, but I just want to address some of these things. Like being an influencer needs to be regulated. I don't know if YouTube can do that. I don't know. That's just, at least don't use your kids. That's all I'm saying in this point. So we touched on the money that they made just on the Huxley stuff and the money that they actually make overall. And then they make millions of dollars. Okay. So now that they lost their sponsorship, and I'm sure Stauffers Garage is probably going to lose his sponsorships because the Twitter army's out there and they are targeting all their sponsorships. I'm saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying people feel justified in calling out people's bad behavior. And if this is the way to do it, you do it with your wallet. I would never justify doxing somebody where they live or giving an address and say, go hurt them. That's so stupid. These people are generally pretty innocent. Are they chachi? Yes. Are they selfish? Yes. Are they narcissistic? Yes. Do they deserve to be destroyed? No. But they don't deserve to use Huxley anymore to make money. That's kind of my biggest one that I really wanted to touch on. That was the biggest one. I just don't want to see this kid exploited anymore. And a lot of people commenting on my video and other videos that, by doing these videos, we're exploiting Huxley. And they're kind of right. We really are. We're exploiting the situation for our own videos. And it's true. Again, everybody's a hypocrite to a certain degree, but at some point, if we don't expose and educate ourselves, again, we're doomed to repeat this, and kids are going to get hurt all over the world, and that's just the dumbest thing. I hate it. One of the big ones that really gets me over this whole thing I have a pretty good gut feeling about people when I talk to them, when I see them. I'm not trying to brag, but for some reason, it's just something that some people naturally are gifted in. You can kind of have a good gut feeling a lot. For some reason, I have a great gut feeling when my teenagers are lying to me, and I end up being right most of the time. And it sucks, and it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because I know something's up, and then I start digging more, and I start finding other things, and it's like snowballs, and it's like, oh crap. But my gut was right to begin with. My gut on these people is that, yes, they're selfish and they're narcissistic and everything else, but my gut was that Huxley was just kind of an outsider from the beginning. And if you look at all the videos and everything that happened, where she was complaining about the doctor trying to warn her against it, to knowing everything that they're going to do, to knowing everything that he had, his issues, and then all of a sudden using it as an excuse to say, well, we didn't know. Hypocrites. This is the biggest hypocritical channel of all of them. This is the craziest thing. And I think they're probably done after all this whole thing happens. And so one of the biggest things that really bugged me was the fact that they had a video where they're planning a trip with Huxley, I guess. Or maybe they weren't, but they were planning this trip on this video, and he was still part of their family. And then they apparently went on this vacation after they got rid of him. And do you have to understand this? Huxley didn't just go to another home. Okay, he went into the system first and might still be there to this day. No one knows, and we shouldn't know. We're never going to know because it's not our business after this whole thing, right? Let him be. But there's no way that this kid went to another loving home right away and then they went to Bali for a month. Didn't happen that way. They literally went to Bali on this amazing, life-changing, transformational vacation for my bikinis and everything for YouTube content and Instagram content, while this kid sat in a foster care system. I know some foster parents who are amazing. So it could be a good situation, but it's never a good situation because he went from China to the Stauffers to a foster care family who's probably awesome or not. You don't know. You just can't know. And now he's hopefully going to a forever home, what they said, where who's going to be loving. This kid is transitioned and is going to continue to transition till the end, till he gets to a place where he lands. So they go to Bali and this kid is in transition. In a place he doesn't know, in front of strangers, and already he's got issues. He's nonverbal. I mean, the horror of this is insane. Here's what you could have done, Stauffers, if you're listening, and hopefully you are. And for anybody out there who's thinking about doing this, here's what you could have done. Don't go to Bali. Okay, cancel the trip. I know it's probably sponsored anyway. You probably didn't even pay for it. Don't go. Because when you look back, hindsight's 20/20, yes, but think about what you've done. Okay, you're supposed to be this loving, and you love him with all your heart and all your body and soul and mind, blah, blah, blah. All the tears came down. And yet your actions were like, okay, we put him in the system. As hard as that probably was for you, and I do agree, it probably was hard for you. You put him in the system, took your family on a vacation, and then all the videos that kind of came after were pretty light and airy and happy. There was no sadness anywhere. And that's where I kind of read into this a little bit more as a person who trusts my gut. That it was more of a relief and you guys were happy to be rid of him. And then you just kind of went on with your own thing. One thing needs to be said. As I was counting the video counts for this Huxley, your Huxley channel part, it's interesting to note that before the adoption happened, that 5.5 million view video, it was roughly 50 to 40,000 per hit, 50, 60, 70, 80 if you were lucky, 1,000 video plays per video. As soon as that 5.5 million video hit where you went and got them from China, everything after that was over 100,000, 200, 300, 400, 500, 800,000. It's clear just by looking at the numbers that because of this kid coming into your life, it elevated everything that you did. It elevated your monetary gains, everything. Because of what this kid did for you, it elevated it all. And you can just see it yourself just by watching the video counts. Just crazy. Doubled, tripled after he came into your family or more. And I'm sure that your view count, you probably went to hundreds of thousands of subscribers because of this. A lot of people want to adopt, and this is a big, big thing. Adoption is a huge issue. It's a great topic to talk about. It's a good thing to expose. And you were this international adoption superstar, Michael Jordan, get your own sneakers. Look at it. We adopted from China and buy our sneakers. And then you just got rid of them. And then you were apparently looking for another one with less issues. I mean, anybody knows, and I hope you know this, everything you put online stays there forever. Just by privatizing video, I'm sure I'll find that if I really want to find it. My issues are just that you just did it wrong. You completely did it wrong. I'm going to go back to this again. Here's how you could have done it. You could have actually been honest with your viewers online and said, look, it's been a really hard week. We're discussing the possibility of maybe we got to get him in front of a doctor, and the doctor is saying to us, he needs to go to a different home. If you would have just started this from the beginning like that, yeah, you probably would have got a little flack. You probably would have, but not to the degree that you're getting it now. Of course, if you would have walked people through the process, because this does happen, maybe you could have exposed this as something that does happen. And we're going to walk through that process, and it sucks so badly, but we're going to walk through that process. Instead, you just were secretive about it. And then you went on a vacation. And then all your videos that followed, you continued to amass the following and get the money, but didn't tell anybody about Huxley being gone. And the secretive nature of deleting people's comments that were talking about it in your Instagram and on your face and your YouTube and your Facebook, that's super chachi. Like, you shouldn't have done that. Like, I'm not a psychologist, okay? And this is all conjecture. And as you look at the videos where you look at James and Huxley, and it felt to me like this kid James did not want this kid. I feel like maybe in your life, and maybe you could be honest with us someday, and you don't have to be, but I feel like maybe James is like, he's got to go. If anything, Myka was the one who was probably like, wanted to hold on to this. But I think maybe there was some issues with the kids and everything else, and I totally get all that. Not negating that this doesn't happen, because it absolutely does happen a lot. And I think I'm probably done talking about this, and I'm going to continue on to other different social commentaries after this, because I don't want to keep capitalizing on this thing, but I did want to address it all. As a parent who has adopted, and I wanted to clear that up, I was not adopted. My mother was adopted, so I've been exposed to it my whole life, and then I adopted my biological nephews. We didn't sit down and make a shiny video about, I can't wait to adopt and open up adoption, pick your own child magazine. We didn't do that. Okay. We adopted out of necessity. I didn't adopt because it was in our plan, was never in our plan to adopt. And those who do adopt, I love you and you're amazing. I just don't like getting the kudos for it, because we did it out of pure necessity. Okay. These boys needed a place. They are my biological blood relatives, nephews, and we did it because that's what family does. And they've been with us ever since, and it's been awesome. But for those of you who adopt out of the kindness of your heart and don't tell everybody, you're the real salt of the earth. Adoption is still really important. But please, if you're going to adopt, don't monetize it. Can we do that together? Can we not do that? I mean, unless you're really, really doing it to a point where it is exposing adoption and helping. Does adoption really need more exposure, to be honest, like in how shiny it is and how awesome? Because it's actually not. Adoption is really hard, and it's really hard on the kids. And adoption is hard on the kids, especially if you've monetized the whole thing and it's on there for the rest of their life. These kids don't want to be exposed. Some kids don't want to tell everybody that they've been adopted, and that's their choice to make. They don't want to tell everybody they're adopted. But if you put it out there for the whole world to see at all times, everybody's gonna know forever. This kid's gonna have internet fame forever. He's on there forever because of what you did. And you asked to honor his privacy, except you didn't. So I mean, I know I keep saying that, but Stauffers, if you're listening, and to the whole change.org petitions and everything else out there, just take the content off, okay? And maybe you can salvage some of this. Maybe take a year off, go rethink, go redo your life, figure out what you're going to do better. Maybe this could be a great lesson in humanity for yourself, and selfishness and narcissism. Go get some therapy. Everybody could use therapy. Everybody's narcissistic to a degree, but you guys have done something pretty hurtful, and it's resonated with a lot of people. Obviously, you're being canceled. That's a huge deal, and this is your life. So, I mean, that's a hard reality for you to hear. Maybe you're stronger from this coming out of it. I hope you are. I don't hope that you're destroyed for this. You guys have kids and you have a family. I hope that you can come back. I just hope that you do the right thing for Huxley. And if you do hold on to the monetary stuff, maybe you can give it to Huxley. Maybe you can put it in his account. Maybe give him the money that he's made. Maybe do some math and figure out how much money this kid has actually made you and give it to him, because he's the one that deserves it. He's the one that's going to need it. He's the one that is going to have to struggle with this later on. You guys will be forgotten, and this will come back. So do the right thing. Stauffers, do the right thing and give Huxley what's his, and or take down the content you continue to make money off of instead of paying high-priced lawyers to make comments online. Just unreal. You guys need Jesus.